and guests of honor, Srinivas Reddy, Director CSIR-ICT, Kumar, CSIR-NG, Tiwari, Former CSIR-NG, Sudan Reddy, and EC member task on I request Professor P. Vengopal Reddy, task and Professor K. Janardhan Reddy. I'd like to formally welcome the chief guest and guests of honor. I request Ms. M.L. Madhavi, Ms. K. Tika, G. Swarupa, Ms. Devika, chief guest and other dignitaries on the dais. Dr. Rambabu, FA, DRDL, then esteemed EC members, distinguished scientists, fellows of the academy, print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to invite our world-renowned young scientist, Sri Satish Reddy Garu, for this August. Telangana Academy of Sciences is formed after being renamed as such on bifurcation of composite state of Andhra Pradesh from its original AP Academy of Sciences, which was established in the year 1963 by the then Education Minister Sri P.V.G. Rajagaru, Maharaja of Vijayanagara. The TAS has been engaged in the advancement of science in the state of Telangana, organizing seminars, symposia, endowment lectures, on science popularization and other related programs are also part of the annual activities. All of you are aware that Yelavarti Naidamma, world-renowned scientist, who was also the president of this AP Academy of Sciences. And this Academy of Sciences was led by eminent scientist, Professor Naidamma. Apart from Professor Naidamma, Professor N.V. Subbarao, well-known chemist of this country, Professor Navneet Rao, the legendary Vice Chancellor of Usmania University, Dr. Anji Reddy, the chairman of Reddy Labs, Professor uh, M.V. Rao, former Additional Director General of ICIR, and P. Shiva Reddy, well-known ophthalmologist of this country, not only although he is from Telugu Nadu, but he is a well-known ophthalmologist. And many scientists led this organization, and they made this academy reach its excellent levels. So, Dr. Y. Naidamma Memorial Lecture was delivered by eminent legendary personalities like Professor C.N.R. Rao, Dr. A.B.J. Abdul Kalam, Dr. Kastur Rangan, Dr. Anil Kakodkar, Dr. V.K. Saraswat, Dr. Arya Mashelkar, Dr. P. Balaram, and Ashutosh Sharma. Now, we are fortunate to have in midst of us Dr. Satish Reddy Garu, scientific advisor to the Rakshana Mantri, and indeed we are thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation to deliver Professor Y. Naidamma Memorial Lecture and to receive the Naidamma Memorial Gold Medal. Thank you very much, sir. So here I could see galaxy of young scientists. So I welcome you all for this August gathering. I thank you one and all. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Professor P. Venkopal Reddy, President, as for presidential remarks. G. Satish Reddy Garu, scientific advisor to Rakshana Mantri, Government of India, and chief guest of this night memorial lecture, honorary president of the, sorry, honorary secretary of the Telangana Sciences, other distinguished guests sitting on half the dais, distinguished members of the academy, respected fellows of the academy, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. On behalf of the academy, I invite you all to this Y. Naidamma lecture. I take this opportunity to explain some of the salient features of this academy. The academy has laid the responsibility on all its fellows individually or collectively in improving, in promoting original research and disseminating scientific knowledge to the community through its activities by organizing meetings, discussions, seminars, symposia, and publications. The academy recognizes a special relationship with the scientific community, scientific creativity, with the process of educating the society, and holds the course of discovery and includes the identification, nurturing the scientific talent among the youngsters. Aware of the fundamental contributions to the science and technology can make national regeneration and economy, and the principle of scientific and social scientific effort individually or corporate is entirely consisting of with the natural
individual freedom, and quest for knowledge that can be. The basic objective of the academy is to promote, nurture, and safeguard the interests of the scientific culture among the members of the society. For example, the recent pandemic situation, our people tried their level best to in educating the society about the problems and the exploitation by the private hospitals and pharmaceutical companies. In order to meet the needs of the times, the Academy has carefully considered the steps to be taken further to further its objectives, taking the cognizance of the enormous, enormous and continuous increase in the scientific knowledge and its applications to the society uh, in every sphere of life. So, considering the growth of the scientific advancement with the country, so the number of scientific institutions and scientists working in various fields, the council has expanded its the number of fellows in order to have with the growth of the science and technology. In a situation where every facet of life needs the revitalization of the uh, retaining a clear perspective for nurturing the scientific temper utmost is utmost important in in a country with rules and regulations of bureaucratic formalism. It is the greatest value for the fellows at the academy and promote the principle of the regeneration, rational through functioning and relevance rather than precedents. By applying rigorous standards of scientific criticism all over all and all these uh, consecutive systems, constructive systems. So the academy considers the scientific community has a unique contribution to make to make not only the flowering of the science in the country but also national character. So in view of these points raised by me, I would like to discuss and debate, and then try to look into the matter, and then try to let us have some sort of useful discussion for this. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Prakash Kumar, Director CSR Engineering, for his brief remarks.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to all the dignitaries present here. Professor P. Venugopal Reddy Garu, President, Telangana Academy of Sciences. Professor K. Janardhan Reddy Garu, Secretary, Telangana Academy of Sciences, and other office bearer of task. Respected G. Satish Reddy Garu, Scientific Advisor to the Raksha Mantri, Government of India. As we all know, he is a very well-known defense scientist of this country. Welcome, sir. We are really honored that today you came to among us, and you will talk on a very important topic today, which is very relevant to our country. The Telangana Academy of Sciences is a very proactive organization since I came to NJRI, and I've been hearing this about this organization. And this organization has really coming very proactive in organizing various activities, uh, inviting very dignitaries of the country to deliver lectures and some scientific issues, to raise scientific issues of the country and also for the scientists, and contributing to immensely the popularizing the science. Since the inception of this fellowship in 2014, but in fact, this is a very old academy from, I think, 1963. So it is a very momentous occasion today that TAS has chosen a very great personality, Dr. Satish Reddy, to deliver a lecture named after another eminent person, Professor Y. Nademma. As we all know, and just now, here, Professor Venugopal Reddy introduced that Professor Y. Nademma was an Indian, very popular Indian scientist, both in India and abroad. And he was instrumental in bringing one of the very great lab of our CSIR, CLRI, and also made the CLRI world famous. And so now we are calling CLRI as our lab, our CLRI. And also he served as a DG of CSIR and then the Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal University, Delhi. Sir, engineering is also one of the labs of CSIR, which is multidisciplinary in nature. And it is devoted to understand the complexity of our Mother Earth, the interlinked subsystems. Engineering is also a mandate to conduct research for the public good science, to enable government agencies and public and private sector stakeholders to improve preparedness and also the sustainable development, and further the resilience to natural hazards, various types of hazards. We have also proposed recently various scientific, science and technological interventions under Atmanirbhar Bharat. We have, including the defense and border management system. I would like to also emphasize that geophysics can also be used as a forensic geophysics. Now the term is coming up as a forensic geophysics. Today, Dr. Satish Reddy Garu has chosen a very pertinent topic of the day, that evolving defense ecosystem of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which happens to be now the relevant of our present day India. I personally and on behalf of CSIR-NGRI welcome you all on this great event today, Yelavarthi Nademma Memorial Lecture, and I thank the organizers of this meeting for choosing CSIR-NGRI as a host and inviting me to part of this great event. I once again welcome you all in this event and thank you very much to all.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. V.M. Tiwari, former Director, CSIR-NGRI, for addressing the gathering. Today, chief guest and Professor I. Nademma Memorial Lecturer and Gold Medalist, Sri Professor G. Satish Reddy Garu, the President of Telangana Academy of Sciences, Professor K. Janardhan Reddy, other office bearers of the Telangana Academy of Sciences, the Director of CSIR-ICT, Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy, and Director of DMRL, Dr. G. Madhu Siddham Reddy. Eminent scientist, Padma Vibhushan, Professor A.B. Ramarao, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Hyderabad, former Director of the CSIR CCMB, many of colleagues from CSIR NGRI, and several students from parts of the city. Namaskar and very good morning to all of you. At outset, I would like to join the Director CSIR NGRI, Dr. Prakash Kumar, to welcome all of you at CSIR NGRI, and particularly the today chief guest who happened to visit CSIR NGRI after probably 7 years
And I informed him, sir, that his planted sample is growing with no bound. Every day it is greening and capturing CO2, probably much more than the other plants. This I agreed to this hosting of this lecture series because of the several reasons. One, that this is named after the one of the very prominent scientists of the country, a person who came from a very small town, in fact, village, and made a mark internationally. Probably many of you, and today, while conversing, today chief guest was mentioning how important his life had been, that had been narrated and presented by several eminent scientists, and a blog was written by Honorable former Vice President Sri Bankaya Naidu Garu. I would also like to tell that this award lecture I got remember because of another region in 96 or 97, the then Salakar to Raksha Mantri, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, had delivered this lecture in CSIR ICT, and as a student, I had a privilege of interacting, and I hope the same privilege now the present students will have. An honorable advisor to the Raksha Mantri, Sri Satish Reddy Garu, is going to deliver and receive the gold medal from Telangana Academy of Sciences. The other region, which also very dear to me, is the education profile of Professor Y. Naudamma. Probably many of you may not be knowing that Professor Naudamma searched without Google search those days and found that there is only one institute and university in the country which teaches the industrial chemistry. And that course was started none other than Sir Santi Swarup Bhatnagar, professor at Department of Chemistry, Banaras Hindu University. And Naidamma, as a student, thought that this course he should take it up. And I had the privilege to study in the same department, and therefore I found that it's a very important occasion to feel pride and honor that alumnus of the department had made mark internationally. All said and done, the most important thing what Professor Naidamma taught us, and what today our chief guest is going to explain and had been the instrumental in delivering for India's good. That is nothing but making India Atmanirbhar. In the areas when the Naidamma started, particularly the research in the uh, chemical technology for the leather industry, it was unheard, it was unknown. What made it several $1 billion industry in India connecting to the international scientific as well as the industrial arena was his contribution coming particularly from CSIR. So being a CSIR, I feel that he had been our role model and will remain role model. Of course, in front of us, we have A.V. Ramarao Garu, who made us to feel very proud of being part of the CSIR, that not only inside the CSIR we can do the things for the growth of the country outside CSIR as well. Sir, we are very much honored for your winning presence at CSIR NGRI, and we look forward particularly to get your guidance making India Atmanirbhar, and I'm sure we all will make before India reaches the completion of the Amrit Kal. Under your leadership, under your guidance, India Atmanirbhar not only in defense, but in the other arena, as you have been guiding us from uh, one occasion to another occasion. Like I remember as a scientist, I received a call, none other than the director of that time, that can you establish an absolute gravity observation in the campus of DMR? And that kind of connectivity he had, our chief guest, that he never even bothered to talk to the scientist and see that whatever is required is done in no time. So with these words, I would also like to place on record the thankfulness to the Academy for choosing CSIR NGRI as a host and giving the privilege of hosting the chief guest advisor to the Raksha Mantri, Sri Satish Reddy Garu at CSIR NGRI. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy, Director CSR ICT Hyderabad, for reading the profile of Professor Y. Naidu.
Padma Dr. A.V. Ramarao Garu, Dr. Satish Reddy, Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, those others, like Professor Venugopal Reddy, Dr. Prakash Kumar, Dr. V.M. Tiwari, Purushottam, and many other dignitaries of the dais. Of course, I see many people, but difficult to name all people. Mohan Babu, Parao Garu, Maipal, all many others are there. So before that, let me take this opportunity to congratulate two new directors we have with us. One is, of course, Dr. Prakash Kumar, NGRI Director, and Dr. Tata Rao, ARCI. So we just assumed charge yesterday, day before yesterday. I congratulate both of you, and I wish you all the best in your new roles. So I'm here. I'm happy to be here, part of this program. And before that, let me also congratulate our chief guest, Dr. Satish Reddy, for being selected for this very prestigious Professor Y. Naidu Gold Medal for delivering the prestigious memorial lecture on his name. So before that, I think already we little bit mentioned about this Dr. Naidu, but I thought I'll give a little bit more details, particularly for the benefit of students and also younger colleagues. Dr. Elavarthi Naidu was the pride and ambassador of Indian leather industry, I can tell you, because today something we're talking about leather in India means just because of him and his contributions. Dr. Naidu, a farmer by birth and cobbler by profession. So as himself he used to call, was a director of CLRI, that is the Central Leather Research Institute in Chennai. From 1958 to 73, almost close to 15 years, he served as a director. So he also served as a Director General, CSIR, and also Vice Chancellor of very prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru University. And probably he was the only Telugu person probably heading DG CSR, if I am right. I don't know anybody, any other than anybody. He was also advisor to various international and national bodies. And I think probably he was a person I was reading somewhere. I think he was a person responsible bringing, probably Dr. A.V. Ramarao knows about it. I think he only got Dr. Mashelkar from US that time, and he appointed as a senior scientist. The senior scientist at that time used to be very it's not like entry level position, it's like a senior position that time. So he appointed. Now we all talk about Dr. Mashelkar. So but Dr. Naidu was responsible bringing Dr. Mashelkar. So under Dr. Naidu's extraordinary leadership, and also later he stayed at CLRI, because he contributed so difficult to read out all of them, and particularly very relevant to like a translational research, and it transferred many technologies. So just to tell a little bit about back his childhood. So he went to primary school in Elavaru High School in Tirumella, intermediate in AC College, Guntur, and undergraduate course in, as our Tiwari sub told, industrial chemistry in Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi. After graduation from BHU in 1942, he joined in the Law College of Chennai. That time used to be Madras, right? So something happened in something accidental. That's what I read about. I think if you want to read a little bit more details about it, there was one complete article on Dr. Nayudamma in Current Science. A few years ago, it was published. People are interested, you can also read that one. So, to be honest, actually, I read only yesterday about all details about Nayudamma because I need to talk something about Nayudamma. I heard about him, but I never know much about Nayudamma earlier. So he during that so he look at his transition. He got his degree in industrial chemistry. He joined in law college, so he wanted to pursue law probably that time. So, but he happened to meet that time Seshachalam Chowdhury, so changed the course of his life. So he met that time. Then he asked him to join this Leather Technology Institute in Chennai. So he then Dr. Naidamma joined in that institute, and everything changed. In 1943, he joined with salary of rupees 17 per month. So this was turning point for his life. So he was again that time probably government also used to send these people for training outside. So they sent him to UK for advancing training in this leather technology because at that time we didn't know much about leather in India at least. And then after that he moved to US for PhD. Then he returned to CLRI. Of course, he made several contributions, and he was handpicked by first Prime Minister of India, that is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, to the office of Director of CLRI. So it was written in that document that after a personal interview in the midnight, so Prime Minister used to interview people that time. so he was another interesting thing came to know is so he was only 36 years old. Probably he was the youngest director of institute. So he was also well recognized internationally as part of several levels bodies. He used to go for different meetings, attend meetings outside the country. So of course he awarded many awards. One of them is very prestigious Padma Shri in 1971, Fellow of Indian Academy of Sciences, National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, and also ISI and American Leather Chemists Association. There are many other things are there. And Dr. Naidamma left India on June 10th. Again, this is also on government duty. So in 1985 to attend a meeting in USSR, then Board of Governors meeting in June 21 in Ottawa, Canada. So on June 23rd, he boarded Air India flight, that Air India flight called Emperor Kanishka, carrying about 329 passengers. So he died in this tragic accident. There's a flight crash. There was also some allegation that some air bombing was there that time. So he left the world on June 23rd, 1985. But many of his contributions are alive and will continue forever. For many who knew Dr. Naidamma and read about him, he is a living inspirational spirit. His legacy lives long. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. G. Madhusudan Reddy, Director DMRL Hyderabad and EC member of TAS for introducing the chief guest.
Very good morning to you all. Respected dignitaries on the dais and the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It is really an honor and privilege for me to introduce the towering personality, Dr. G. Satish Reddy. As such, he is quite well known and popular, and it does not require any formal introduction to this audience. However, as a formality of the academy and for the benefit of a few young people who might not be fully aware of his contributions to the field of science and technology. Dr. G. Satish Reddy is scientific advisor to Raksha Mantri, an internationally renowned defense scientist. He has led the development of a large number of critical defense equipment and technologies through synergetic approach among academia, DRDO, and industries. In the early years of career as a navigational engineer, he made the country self-sufficient in navigation systems and led the development of critical avionics and missile systems. Dr. Satish Reddy is the main architect of India's maiden successful test of anti-satellite ASAT missile, that is Mission Shakti. His leadership has made the country become self-reliant in the area of missiles, radars, sonars, torpedoes, and electronic warfare systems, armored vehicles, guns, and aircrafts. On the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister, he has established the Young Scientist Laboratories and encouraged young talent in a big way. He has brought in strong collaboration between DRDO and industry and made the industry participate right from design phase itself. Under his leadership, many centers of excellence were established in various prestigious academic institutes and progressed research in multiple advanced areas like quantum technologies, advanced materials, lasers, terahertz devices, sensors, etc. Many prestigious national and international institutions have honored him with awards and honorary degrees of doctorate. He is the first Indian in over 100 years to be conferred with the prestigious honorary fellowship and silver medal by the Royal Aeronautical Society, London. He is the first scientist outside the USA to be honored with Missile Systems Award by American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics in nearly 4 decades. Other prestigious awards include the National Systems Medal, National Design Award, IEEE USA Award for Engineering Excellence, and Homi Bhabha Gold Medal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our chief guest, Dr. G. Satish Reddy Garu, Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, Government of India, to deliver Professor Y. Naidamma Memorial Lecture.
Namaskar. Very good morning. President Telangana Academy of Sciences, Professor Venugopal Reddy. Secretary Telangana Academy of Sciences, Professor Janardhan Reddy. Dr. Prakash Kumar, Director NGRI. Dr. Srinivas Reddy, Director IICT. Dr. Masudan Reddy, Director DMRL. The former Director of NGRI, Professor V.M. Tiwari, who is here. And then the eminent personalities who are present here, Dr. Ramarao, Professor Apparao, Dr. Mohan Rao, then Professor Sriram, Professor Malesham, Tata Rao, and many others, and Professor Manohar Raoji, whom I know him last almost, I think, 40 years, and many others who are present here. Once again, namaskar to all of you. And let me thank profusely the Telangana Academy of Sciences for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to deliver a memorial talk on the legend, great scientist of the soil, Professor Y. Naidamma, whom we all remember very well. The entire nation, entire world remember him for all his contributions. And particularly in this place, having come from this place, a lot remembering him in a big way, regularly having various, in various occasions remembering him, honoring various people in his name. And it's my privilege, proud privilege, to be delivering this Professor Y. Naidamma Memorial Talk. And also, I'm very thankful and honored, with humility, I say this, that the gold medal in Professor Y. Naidamma's name is being bestowed on me today. Thank you very much, Telangana Academy of Sciences. And I've been part and parcel of the Telangana Academy of Sciences, or rather earlier AP Academy of Sciences. I've been coming here And this is not the first time that I'm coming here. Number of meetings, number of occasions like this, we have been part and parcel of it. And I'm sure that with so many academic institutes, universities, and research organizations which are there in this place, particularly in the city of Hyderabad, uh, the Telangana Academy of Sciences should be flourishing in a big way and driving the research in the science and technology in a big way, uh, taking forward the research in these areas, whatever are the expertise available in these organizations in a big way. In fact, I heard sometime back, I think it is the idea is being taken forward. Professor Murthy, IIT Hyderabad director, was mentioning whole of Hyderabad concept, wherein all the institutions, academic institutions in the city and around city, and also the R&D organizations and various other establishments in the country, how collectively they can take missions and drive those missions and carry forward those missions, and probably the missions which are more relevant to this place also. There is one concept which has been promulgated and which is being discussed across the country also. I hope the Telangana Academy of Sciences also will be able to play a important role in that and take forward that idea, which is very good. In fact, you must have been hearing this uh, with various departments in the government of India. Uh, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has brought a concept of that whole of the government approach, meaning various departments need to work synergetically as one entity. Not that you have each department, the work is bifurcated, divided, and then you keep having all your various hurdles or otherwise walls between you. Instead of that, why not we work together as a whole of government approach? And similarly, I think this approach, what has been brought in, saying that whole of Hyderabad approach, that is called taking forward all the institutions and R&D organizations together, a good idea. So coming to this today's topic of Atmanirbhar Bharat, evolving ecosystem. This is one thing actually, again, the call given by Honorable Prime Minister, Atmanirbhar Bharat, is the one which has been given by the Honorable Prime Minister to take the country forward, to make the country completely self-reliant and not dependent from outside, particularly for critical and strategic things. But before entering into that, let us just look at uh, what has been happening in the country and how things have been emerging over decades. But then, particularly, I'll say that there has been a change which was there somewhere around late 70s or 80s. Every department in the country has seen a change in the evaluation of their particular area of work or research or the industry, wherein many activities have taken up in the country. Let it be whether the space or atomic energy or the defense or the, let's say, pharmaceuticals or chemical related activities and many other related, even oceanography and earth sciences related activities. They have seen a change in their activities, how they have been going through. More and more, the industry started joining. Maybe that time the numbers were very few, and industry coming forward, or rather, many industries being established. Look at in Hyderabad itself, the way the pharmaceutical side or even the chemical um, industry side. That is the period actually when lots of things started coming up. Yes, there have been the R&D organizations which were there, which have actually brought in the fundamental research or basic research or the applied research, taking the cue. Many of the people who are working in these places, uh, whether in the pharmaceutical, what we have seen in the Paranagar area, the industry, from there the people have migrated and many industries have been established, or in the chemical industry side also, what we have seen here. And similarly, that is the time when SLVs, PSLVs, SLVs, ASLVs, and all started coming out from ISRO. That is the time when we have done our nuclear test in Pokhran and shown to the world that yes, we have in atomic energy, we are doing a work. And that is the time the missile programs have been taken up, and the first missiles of the country have been tested in the 80s. And that is the change. Seeing that, as I said, industry started coming in. And then there have been from there onwards, again, there has been a steady growth, what was happening. And if you look at after about, there have been a steady growth, as I said, in every year, we can see ASLV has become PSLV, and then PSLVs have been launched, GSLVs have come, and then again, during the Prime Ministership of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, we could do some more nuclear tests, establishing our own capabilities and getting more and more data for us. The missiles have gone to aircrafts, to tanks, and many more missiles, and various other areas we started. We started building our own submarines and all that. Likewise, many areas, a lot of activities have taken place. But then when you look at 2010 plus, when you look at it, still in various areas, the import dependency was enormous, a lot. Lots of equipment we have been importing, and lots of machinery, and many other things. If you look at even today, if the total imports, if you look at it, roughly about 25 to 30% of the imports are on the equipment, instruments, machinery, materials, and some of the sensors and related is one. Almost this comes to about 30% of this. Look at any equipment, heavy machinery, any equipment in the medical side, any equipment in the communication side, any equipment what you see in the machinery, machining side, you see 6-axis machine, 5-axis machine, whatnot, and all that are the measurement equipment and whatnot, testing equipment you see. And even in defense, we have been one of the largest importers in the world of the defense equipment. So that has been there. There has been a steady growth in the research and development, and country has been growing. But at the same time, this also has been there, which probably has been also coming down slowly. And I think that is the reason why Honorable Prime Minister, once he has taken over, Sri Narendra Modi ji has taken over as the Prime Minister, has given the call for Make in India. That is the very fundamental first step, saying that let us make all the equipment and whatever required in the country. That means whether you have the capability, you try to make it, or you collaborate with somebody, or otherwise that industry itself comes and establishes its own venture here and entity here, and that entity produces within the country. And we may not get the complete knowledge and know-how of it, but we may get some knowledge, or we may get definitely lots of experience, skill set out of it, and then we also get lots of jobs and a lot of other economic benefits and all that is a thing. That is where actually you can see there is a lot of spurt in the activities towards that direction, and many industries have come forward, and there has been I say that a level of change what is in the mindsets of the industry in the country, that yes, we can do, and there is a drive that the Indian manufactured items are required within the country, and the government is pushing, and there is a drive. And in fact, I can say that most of the foreign industries and companies, normally they come and they try to market their products, and they see that, and which has been there. They have been coming with their product, I will export it to you and I will send it to you. There have been various, their own people sitting here and coming along. But since the Make in India call is given, the trend has changed. So any of the senior officers in Government of India, the moment this foreigners start entering, as they open the door, start entering itself, start saying that Make in India, we are for Make in India, we'll start producing here. That sort of a change has been seen in the globally also, that India wants to make most of the equipment within the country. That again, actually, as I said, brought in a change in the perception of the global perception and also the perception within the country, whether it in the research side or within the government side, research organization side. Primarily, the research organizations in the country are been generally government organizations. Whether you talk about R&D organizations or talk about mostly on academic institutes also, majority have been so, and that is the time actually a lot of private institutions and private universities also were coming up and have been establishing. And so this is how the research wise also. So there has been a change that we need to actually accelerate our development and things like that, and at least the products we should be producing here, and then the mindset of getting the equipment need to change. And after that, that is seeing that there is a change and there is a drive and a lot of things are happening around this. And the call is given by Honorable Prime Minister as Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is a very, very, very important call. Uh, I say that for this country, wherein uh, generally we have been a technology follower, which I always say in every talk of mine, which I say that, meaning that a technology or something like that, a system is developed elsewhere in the world. We also come to know about it, and then we also develop it after couple of years, 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and say that we also have developed this type of product is one thing. Second, as I said, look at the any area, look at the communications, the complete servers, the routers, the switches, the back-end equipment as was imported fully. Everything was coming from outside. Yes, we have gone to 2G, 3G, 4G, and then migrating. But then this equipment also should be made. So there have been a drive. Let me just talk about the area what I have taken up now, communications. Then the servers started coming from from this country. The routers have been developed, multiple, couple of industries, couple of academic institutes, professors have developed the routers. Switches have been developed. Some of the people have come with the complete software or networking operating system within the country. The Indian operating system also has come. And that's the change what has happened in that particular area. You look at it. So the call why it is given is we should not be here as a service provider, or rather, I'm a worker using an equipment or instrument which is imported. Why I'm using this word is look at the workshops which are there across the country, tens of thousands of workshops. I'm saying who make components or whatever it is, and most of the things which are there in the country. Go to anything, most of the equipment is from outside, which is bought. You talk any equipment, three-axis mission, five-axis mission, seven-axis mission, also instrument which is used for inspection, testing, everything. So basically, we have the manpower, and manpower is using the equipment, and then we are producing the component. This is how it is. So uh, this is not the scenario any nation likes to have. In fact, I remember that statement in the Aero Show in Bangalore, I think 2019 or so. The Honorable Prime Minister said in that Aero Show from the DAS, I don't want to be like here where I am one of the largest importers of this equipment, and I want to see that the country as one of the largest exporters of things. Second, and when you buy an equipment, normally what happens is the first version comes and it comes after a couple of years to this country. And by the time we start using it, this, that, and all that, the equipment will come as version 2. And naturally, we find get the advertisements, whatnot, marketing skills, and all that, and you get fascinated more towards that equipment, what is come, which version 2. And our mindset becomes that, no, 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 what equipment I'm using is not good. I want that equipment. So you are in a spin off continuously trying to get imported, and mindset goes into it. So that is why the Atmanirbhar Bharat call makes the difference. So what is Atmanirbhar Bharat? All of us are knowing, let me put very clearly in our perspective. Atmanirbhar Bharat means you have the complete know-how, know-why, meaning you are designing, you are developing the system, and then for any critical part in that, rather a part which is not available commercially off the shelf in the world market, those items you should not be dependent on somebody. Meaning, if he stops that particular item, then you are held up here. You are not able to do anything. Sort of a thing should not happen. One is, firstly, you should have know-how and know-why. You have design and development capability. This is one thing actually world, many countries follow this model. You look at, let's say, Brazil. They design the aircrafts and they also make aircraft and sell it out all over the world. At the same time, most of the parts are imported, not in Brazil. The engine is somewhere else and other things are somewhere else and all that. But the complete design is theirs, and so aircraft is owned by them. So you can go Embraer model X, Y, Z, everything comes from them and all that. This is one level of thing. But then that is also good. Yes, where you have the design and development capability and you know what it is, what the entire complete aerodynamics, whatnot, and all that of the aircraft and everything. So you can keep making, upgrading it as the new technology comes and all that is one type of a model. The second one is that, yes, even those critical parts, like the engine example, if Brazil, for any reason, let's say the country which is supplying, let's say France or UK or US, which is supplying the engine to him, if he stops, then the aircraft gets closed. The second one is the critical parts which are not off the shelf, commercially off the shelf are not available in a free market. Those things also we should be able to make it. So this is the important thing in the Atmanirbhar Bharat, which we call it as self-reliant India. Meaning we have the know-how, we have the know-why, we have the design, the development, and mass production in volumes capability. That is also another important thing. Many times we design, we develop it, but we may not be able to produce them with a quality product, a reliable product, which when you sell it to the actually the customer is saying, I have a good product which is reliably working for me, and here's one thing. Second thing is in the manufacturing, the manufacturing technologies which you are using are making that the system is not too costly with respect to the world market. This is another important thing, because why it is, when any industry here works, makes, I don't think the industry can sustain long if you're just looking at the Indian market. Leaving aside a very commercial product, which because we have 110, 120 crores population, so you keep doing it and all that. That is a separate aspect. When we are talking about a high-end product, high-end system, what equipment, then depending on the Indian market alone, may not be viable for an industry for sustaining long, because any industry looks for a sustained production for at least some years. We can't be changing every year a product to try to produce a new product and getting into that and getting into the research or getting the technology from somebody, equipping for that particular thing what you need to produce, and all that becomes very difficult for an industry. They need to have some sustained production of the same product for some years, and so volumes you should be able to produce. For that, you definitely have to look for the market outside. Look at, I think, again, we can take the example of the pharmaceutical industries. Let's say industries which are in Hyderabad, or the chemical industries. I don't think any one of them would have survived just for the market, what is Indian market. So they are surviving because they supply all over the world, right from South America onwards to various countries in the globe, and we are able to do it. So the product you should be able to produce in such a way that you have that much mass production capability, and also the product you are having at, you are able to produce at a cost comparable to the world market. So this is another thing when you talk about the production. So this is what is Atmanirbhar Bharat, which actually, looking at today, there have been a drive, there have been many organizations in the country taking it the lead and trying to work. There have been a sea change again happening in this, if you look at it. The number of startups which have come in this country in the last probably about maybe 3 to 4 years are huge, large number of startups which have come. In one thing, in the startups also, majority are, okay, significant number of them are by our youngsters. This is one important thing what we need to look at. Why I'm saying is, if you look at our youngsters who are coming from our premier institutes in the country, let's say I'm primarily we're talking about technology related things, the IITs. So in these IITs, I think about 10 years back, if you look at it, many of them were going abroad. Probably more than 75% of them were going abroad. But today, if you look at the scenario, if you take it and you look at the statistics, majority of them are staying back in the country today. Majority of them are staying back in the country. So they're either working in the various industries, maybe Indian companies or multinationals, or as I said, the root of this startups, industry establishments, and working here is the concept which has come up. Look at today, the funding agencies from the private sector which have come for funding all these startups. And every state and every place, there are many uh, uh, such funding agencies have come in the country who are trying to fund the startups. If I'm right, today, the government of India's DPIIT, the number of startups which are registered today are more than 75,000 startups today, more than 75,000. And they are in the very important and critical areas, which are in hundreds or some are in thousands. Let me talk to you about defense. Defense was having only some traditional industries in the country, and maybe some industries, MSMEs or something else were coming up and they were doing it. And today, if you look at the startups which have come up in defense industry are in thousands, connected to various areas. Similarly, you're also seeing the change what is there in the private industry and startups, youngsters in the space. Firstly, in the satellite area, there are many people who are building the satellites. Now the people are entered into the launch vehicles also. And you have seen that the Hyderabad firm Skyroot, I think today's newspapers also have seen the Telangana government people also were there with the industry, joining those youngsters and all that who have actually successfully flight tested first launch vehicle. It may be a very beginning, but that shows the trend of people, particularly youngsters, entering it. Similarly, the number of startups are more than in thousands in the artificial intelligence, in the cyber security, in the communication, and of course in the digital front. This is one thing. In fact, that is one of the important change what has again happened. It used to be about maybe 10 years back. Most of our people were into IT industry. Most of our people, whoever it is. I can say that I went to Warangal somewhere around 2013 or so, NIT Warangal. When you go into the metallurgy department also, which where about 40 students were there passing out, I think about 28 or 30 people were joining IT industry. That's the scenario which was. Nothing, I'm not criticizing or anything. That is the opportunity. Somebody is graduating, he looks for an opportunity. There is an opportunity in IT, and India has done well catching that, utilizing that opportunity, and economically and various other aspects wise, the country, many families in the country have gained. And thanks to many people, the government policies and the people have come up in this country, we are able to produce about 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 million engineers. and majority of them have got jobs, which actually, if you look at about 25 years back, getting a job even for an engineer was extremely difficult those days. And there used to be one day, you say first 5 years, civil engineering department, and somebody says, no, chemical engineering department is very good. Somebody says some other department it used to be. That trend has changed. And everyone who passes out was able to get, and luckily the Y2K problem, whatever have come and all that have gained. So I'm saying this change of this particular uh, phenomenon of everybody joining the IT also has changed. That is how I'm saying the startups, when you talk about space technologies, propulsion technologies, material technologies, research in the material composites, to talk about cyber-related technologies, many areas. I'm talking about artificial intelligence, cognitive technologies. The startups have come. In fact, just I'm telling you very authentically. Last week only, I got the complete list from DPIIT. I wanted to study how many startups are there in what area and all that. And, huge number of people in each group when you separate it out. Cybersecurity itself, so many people have come. So this one change which has brought in where youngsters. Second is one more important thing is driving with innovations and more and more translation research happening in the academic institutes and with the students also. I'll a little touch upon the other part of it also little later, but then the translation research, wherein industry and academia working together, coming out with the products which are required, or the products with innovation which is required for these industries. And so the professors, the students, and the industry people working together have gone up a lot in the country in a big way. You go anywhere, any department, in any major institutions. These are all primarily, I'm talking about the engineering products. I'll come to the other science and technology related things. These are all actually basically industry looks for a product. So this mostly coming out of the engineering institutions and all that, and working on these sort of things and trying to give the products in whichever area it is. You can see even armed forces. They have so much now working with the academic institutes directly for getting products and product upgradations also in a big way happening in the country. And you look at any institution in the country today, you go to any engineering college here itself, probably in and around Hyderabad, we have about maybe 400 or 500 academic engineering colleges today. Everyone will have some at least 20, 30, 40, 100 projects in it. Every college, whether from the government departments or from the industry, working on these type of things and coming out. That is one sea change which has come, where you are working on practical systems. When we came out of our colleges, we never had any, at the maximum, in my final year, we struggled a lot to just have a visit of one day to ECIL and HIL. That was just a visit. Whereas now people are going, working, the industry is working, they are working together, and many of the people, in spite of 1.2, 1.3 millions coming out, many of the people are able to do their internship or the final year project work in the various industries. That is one which change has come, where industry, academia working together, translation, research, and all that has started happening. Second, if you look at, in fact, topic also more connected to the defense, many private industries have started jumping into defense, trying to do development and trying to produce also. Even in very critical things like missiles, bombs, and many areas today. Even today, this is the city where many of the missiles are getting, most of the missiles are getting developed. Lots of industries are coming, which are working on these missile systems and bombs today, which are private industries. It used to be earlier only DPSUs, DPSUs like Defense Public Sector Units, like BDL, Bharat Electronics Limited, and all that. Now, industries have got into it and tried. And that is one thing which has got a confidence that you can work out, you can produce here, and there is customers available, and they will take the product is one of the most important things. That confidence has come, and so many industries are jumping into it. You talk about any big industry in the country, they have a defense vertical today, which are trying to do it. A lot of people keep coming, and I can say that every day I get one or two more people coming to me saying that we want to enter into defense, what area is good, where we can work, and things like that is one thing. And similarly, you are seeing in the space side also. And any sector, if you look at it also, there are lots of things which are coming. I don't have to talk about communications particularly. I said that routers and switches, they're all developed in the private industry. Leaving aside the academic professors, academic institutes, the organizations like Niveti, Lekha, and all those industries which are coming out with this back-end telecom equipment which is there in the country, sort of a thing, and many things. The country has become completely self-reliant in the shipbuilding today. The, mm, so many industries, whether it's the public sector or in the private sector, and in fact, you are trying to export in a big way. Even the country has become such a way that in the metro rails, coaches and things like that, not only just working for here, in many countries we have started working and taking up. Italy today, many of the metros there, the metro coaches, the trains, are built by Indians and which are there on the track today in the Italy. It is an Indian company which is doing. So these sort of a sea change has come, which actually people are looking for technologies and trying to do it and things like that. In the defense sector, the recent example of the Defexpo, what has happened in Gandhinagar, is an example. That Defense Expo first time is made only for Indian industries, not the outside industries. And the total number of industries which have participated are more than 1,200 industries have displayed their products. More than 1,200. That is the change. One very specific area all of you know is, which I can need to mention is, the way India has taken up the challenge and has gone and going and making India as hub of it more like is the drones. The way the youngsters have come, today I can say probably maybe more than 200, 250 companies are there in India which are working only on drones. I'm saying about 3 months back, when there was an exhibition and a meet in Delhi, where Honorable Prime Minister came, about 120 industries, which are actually startups primarily, which have exhibited their products of drones. This is one change which actually our people have captured and youngsters have captured, and lots of technologies, drone-based various services, drone-based surveillance systems, and drone-based many things also, offensive systems and protection also against rogue drones, and lots of technologies which have come and trying to capture that side of the market. And similarly, in the artificial intelligence, a lot of work which is going on in the country with a lot of startups. And of course, many of the startups connected to the academic institutes. And that's another area where, in a big way, the push is going on. Other side, the exports of this particular thing started in a big way. And in the defense itself, if you look at it, last year, 13,000 crores worth of defense equipment has been exported. 13,000 crores, which we were not thinking earlier. And if you look at the way the various countries are sending inquiries, are coming and discussing, and various negotiations are going on, various orders which are receiving, I think the numbers will be doubling and doubling very, very quickly. A lot of market is there, and there is a drive. Indian industry feels now I can produce, I have market in India, and I'm also capable of supplying to the world. This is the confidence which is coming in the industry. Otherwise, why industry will come? Industry, see, primarily, industry looks always for a market. Yes, I have a market, then I'm ready to establish. There is no issue at all. The moment I feel that I have a market and I have the technology to produce it, and then all other things automatically will come, everything, funding, ending, whatnot, and all that will come and produce it. So that is the confidence industry needs to have, that yes, if I produce, I am able to supply, I will able to give to the people, the country, and also to the world is one thing. So that confidence has come, which is making the change. So the industry in the country started actually doing some amount of research in the niche areas, which was not happening earlier. definitely when I say that research is not a fundamental research, definitely an applied research towards a translational research where many industries are working on many products and through which they are actually have been identified by the world that these are the people who can do this product and come to it. Indian industry started acquiring the foreign companies, even in the area of electronics. Let's say the defense electronics company in France is acquired by a Bangalore-based electronics company in France and which supplies electronics to all over Europe and all that. Is acquired by an Indian company, and then we are working with the entire globe now, supplying from this company. These are the examples which have come up and where lots of things are happening. And there is a spurting activities of development in the country where many systems which are critical or large are also built in the country and coming out. Again, as my topic was more connected to defense, I'll give you just two examples of defense. Uh, this 15th August, when Honorable Prime Minister was delivering his speech from the Red Fort, and the traditional way when we fire the guns, the gun which fired this year is an indigenously built 155 mm artillery gun. So you must have seen that Honorable Prime Minister's saying, 75 साल के बाद यहाँ रेड फोर्ट से हमारा देशी गन का आवाज आपने सुना है उनके. So that gun is built in the country. Two industries are producing and making them, and that gun is the world's longest range gun. No other country has a gun of 155 artillery gun, which has this gun has got that much range. No other country has that. So that gun is built in this country. Now, after that, I think a month and a half later, you must have seen again Honorable Prime Minister commissioning a large system called INS Vikrant, the aircraft carrier. A huge system where fighter aircrafts can land and take off. It is completely built here in the country by the Cochin shipyard, CSL, and the indigenous content is, I think, more than 75 or 80% in that. And definitely we should congratulate Dr. Masudan Reddy here. For that, the complete steel, which is the major content in any ship, is the steel is completely built. They have done the development and the industries are producing here. So just I'm giving you two examples. This is how the things are happening. But then when we say Atmanirbhar, as I said, we become Atmanirbhar if all this equipment, let's say I talk about medical devices. Most of the medical devices which are implanted in our body are coming from outside. Yes, some we started making, and still the tendency that if we go, I want to have a lens or I want a knee replacement, we always say there is an imported one, Indian one, which you prefer, and then there's a tendency to go for an imported one. So these products have to be made here in the country. Yes, definitely quality should not be compromised because I want to have an Indian, I don't want to have a substandard item. So these are, as I said, the equipment and machinery that has to be the part of this country. Yes, some of the machineries started coming from here in the country, but look at today even in automobile field or many other machineries and all that, which we need to look at it and make it here in the country. I don't know, Dr. Prakash Kumar or Dr. Tiwari can say the equipment what we use here in, let's say, our geological survey. They talk about the seismic sensors, we are talking about gravitational measurement things or whatever it is and all that. If we we are very good in doing the research and getting out to coming out with the models and all that, but that equipment also should be what is built here in the country. That actually makes you Atmanirbhar. One thing is very clear: if we are trying to get from outside, we either get a product little delayed, or the product may not be the I said the most front-end equipment. Probably there may be a chance of you getting a little less accurate or slightly degraded equipment is one thing, which actually makes our research also or anything actually little more uh, confined, and you will not be able to go to the areas front end side what we want to go. So these are all the things, like communication equipment, water and all that should be built here. The sensors, the detectors, whatnot, and all that are related technology. Yes, there is good amount of work is going on. We are trying to make today here in the country MEMS sensor. We are trying to make gallium arsenide things. We are making gallium nitride things, and many other things also. Semiconductors also we came into it. We are able to make 180 nanometers technology today, and we are trying to go towards 25 nanometers and better than that and all that. These are the things happening, but we need to go. I'm very happy that today, even in the additive manufacturing, there are a couple of industries which have come here, not, as I said, buy an equipment from outside and make components out of it. The machinery is being built, like I think the industry which is there in Bangalore called BFW, if I'm right, who makes the machinery, additive manufacturing machinery here. This is what is required in all the areas where we start doing it and trying to make the things quickly, trying to become, we are completely self-reliant, we are not dictated by them. And when there is another important commercial angle to it also. If you're buying anything from outside, let it be a raw material or let it be a part to it, then you use that and you make a product out of it, whichever product, let it be pharmaceutical product or let it be equipment or instrument, you can't be competing with the same man who has supplied the raw material to you. It becomes difficult. How do you compete and how do you market it? So this is another important angle where we have to look into it and try to make this is one thing. So there are government has brought in lots of measures trying to support this particular concept and trying to fund the industries, startups, academia in a big way. That is where I'm saying that the ecosystem is evolving. Today, look at the academic institutes. The DRDO itself today, um, we used to have probably in 1980s maybe one or two centers where there was a center of DRDO in academic institutes where research was going on. Today we have in 15 places in the country, 15 institutes slash universities, where centers of excellence and the budget of this the research today is about 1200 crores, where the research to the academic institutes today happen. I'm just giving an example of defense related research. And you must have seen that the way the industries have been encouraged with various mechanisms of funding and all that. Talk about IDEX, which is promoting innovations in a big way in the industries, startups, and MSMEs. Many challenges have been put forth. There have been more than thousands of items have been put in website saying that these are the items which armed forces require. You please indigenously develop them. We will fund them for the development or whichever way it is. And then we are here to actually accept that product what you sell. As late as in the DefExpo, there have been 75 products slash technologies related to space activity have been put forth by the Department of Defense, asking the people to come out with these technologies and challenges which we will be taking. And these are the challenges, technologies which the country needs. And similarly, there have been many mechanisms of DRDO working with the industry. There's been a concept which has been brought in a couple of years back, that development come production partner. Earlier, what used to happen is you completely develop it and test it, and the product is proven, and that product is proven. After that, you give the drawings and everything to the industry, you produce it. Whereas this concept brought in industry, you join right from the day one. You also be part of the development. And the first prototype which comes is not from a DRDO laboratory, it comes from the industry, the first prototype itself. So there's a lot of learning process happens. And there is actually the time is also shortened in a big way. There are no serial process, it's a parallel process, and you're working together synergetically. Confidence comes out, and industry, if has gone through this development process, the version 2 industry itself should be able to develop. So that helps them. And then there is a technology development funding, which actually makes industries or startups or even the incubation centers where the uh, just passed out the graduates can actually come out with any ideation or whatever you say that concept, where you can say that this is useful to the defense or a dual purpose. And then if the concept is found good and it is going to be useful and it will be coming out as a product, evaluation after evaluation, it is funded. It used to be earlier 10 crores, and recently our Honorable Defense Minister Rajnath Singh ji has enhanced it to 50 crore rupees now. 50 crore rupees funding for development, leaving aside other development contracts which actually the labs do it and all that, are in a big way to support the industries to come out. So I just gave a couple of examples of what are there in the Ministry of Defense, and there are many such schemes in CSIR, DST, or ISRO, or atomic energy, and many other heavy industries, small scale industries. And in fact, DPIIT has identified many people in the country who are technocrats or who are technologists who can mentor the startups. So they're called actually mentors of the government of India for the startups. Identified people. Yesterday night only I met somebody who is actually acting as a mentor who supports the startups and works with them and giving it. So there are so many mechanisms which have been brought in to support, and many measures. The test facilities are made open, and the industry and academia's budget funding, defense R&D budget, 25% of it has been said that you should spend 25% on the industry and academic. Like this, lots of measures have been brought in, and that's how the whole ecosystem is evolving towards these things. And similarly, for the academic institutes to generate the skill set in this area, MTech courses in defense have been introduced. And there are 42 academic institutes in the country which have taken up these courses, MTech courses, and that now maybe next year onwards, the graduates MTech in defense technologies will be coming out, which ensures that there are a number of students or professionals coming out who are having the knowledge and join the industry directly and work with the industries. Another very important skill. So this way, in the academia, the industry, and the R&D organizations. Now, R&D organizations also, this mechanisms are changing. Let's say you take media development. Earlier, what used to happen, there used to be very few industries, or mostly industries are used only for make. You give a drawing and they make it and give it to you. And so majority of the responsibility used to be lying, and you are struggling, you are having. And in fact, if you look at it, when I joined DRDL and all that, it used to be huge workshops where you are producing yourself everything also. The scenario is changing now with the DCPP concept coming, industries coming up. You are able to offload many of the things, and many of the things they are able to produce. That is why we call it in our own terminology, uh, build to specification. You give the specifications, you are able to do it. Earlier it used to call build to print. You give a drawing, they're able to print. Now, recently there is a project which has air defense system where majority of the products are coming from the industry which are designed and developed by them. You are giving the specifications, they are giving the products. The power supplies, supplies, cooling systems, whatnot, and all that. Industry is able to produce and giving it. So these are all the things which are happening in the form of various developmental contracts, and industry is getting, and industry is able to see that I have products and which country takes it and world also takes it. To say further from this, as exports are going up, industries are coming up, many components and sub-products and systems which are being built in the country and trying to make the country more and more self-reliant and trying to become Atmanirbhar and trying to move towards a complete Atmanirbhar, and all these things happening in the country, and to see that the country transforms from a leading importer to a leading exporter, a major exporter. So the call again given by Honorable Prime Minister is that make for the world. This is the call. After, so make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, or self-reliant India, and make for the world. So this actually calls for where we were discussing in the morning, also sitting in the director's office, where actually the fundamental research in the sciences and science to technology plays a major role. If we have to become exporters, the, our product has to be technologically competitive or technologically state of the art is one most important thing. For that to happen, there should be a research happening in the core sciences subject. We call it actually always science and technology. The first science, you are doing the research, you are doing the basic research, basic to applied research, and that becomes a technology, technology to a product, translation research should be happening. So if this fundamental thing is not strengthened, the various science departments and the related technology taking up applied research to technology is one of the very important things which actually makes countries transforms towards a leading exporter. We can't just be on a nominal product, we cannot become a leading exporter. It all depends on the natural resources, plus what it requires. See, somebody has got oil and you're supplying it. That is not the line. So you are a technology based or a science and technology based export you need to become. So we need to have a deep rooted research happening in our institutes, primarily in the academic institutes, because academic institutes are the ones which are actually primary element or source of basic research. Yes, they definitely need to do institutes like IITs or NITs or other engineering colleges where a translation research happens and where they have an industry connectivity. That is one thing. But a good amount of resources should be there on the basic research happening and which actually gives us technology, which which we actually want as first of its kind product or technology, which world has not seen. If you are able to come out with that product, then you become a leading exporter. Otherwise, for you to become a leading exporter is catching up technology will never make you a large exporter. Either you have to be first hand or worst case, you are in the same timeline, you are able to come out with the product. So this is one thing. But I'm happy in this direction also. If you particularly if you look at last 2-3 months, I've visited about at least 30 academic institutes. There's a lot of work going on in this direction, leaving aside the translation research products also. A lot of work, which actually is very, very important today. If I make a EV, unless I'm making the batteries and related technologies, where is it? If I'm making solar panels, complete solar panels, but the solar cell I import it, how can it be? So these are all the things which need to do. So in this direction, if you look at it, I'll just give you one example and try to say that. There are at least 2 to 3 startups which have come up in the country working on quantum technologies, which actually the quantum technology, which we consider as one of the foremost or advanced technology areas. People are just working on the quantum sources, quantum detectors, and trying to establish quantum communications. Youngsters, and they're trying to make here and there. And we are one of the countries today who have established a dark fiber, a quantum communication between 2 cities, which is being established here in Uttar Pradesh, between 2 cities of 100 kilometers communication. Very few countries which have done that, actually, which have been established here in the country. Very advanced technological area where our own youngsters, along with the Delhi IIT and DRDO, have established this, and people are working on this in a big way. And these are the types of things which need to happen and take to be forward that we are going to be leading. Another example I can give is, which you must have seen in the newspapers, is the air independent propulsion. There is a fuel cell based propulsion things which are made for the submarine, which can make the submarine stay underwater for longer durations. This is again today, if you look at it, very clearly established, probably one country or maybe probably 2 countries only, Germany and maybe one more country, have established this and proved in the waters today. And India is one now which has established this thing and which are going to be used in our future submarines. So there are in the advanced areas also good amount of research is going on. And what we need is a focused approach in the country, a drive in the country, and this country has enormous capabilities. It's only that those things have to be told to people. You have the capability and you need to do, and you do need to do it very quickly. And we will be able to do it. And I have personally experienced that. When the COVID pandemic has come and Honorable Prime Minister himself has formed groups of secretaries and things like that, and you need to develop the products. And he was taking every week reviews with each group and how far the work is coming and all that. I'll give you one example there how things can happen so quickly in this country. We were not having ventilators in this country before the pandemic. We were importing almost 99%. Maybe one odd industry was producing some level of ventilators here in the country. And we wanted to have at least 50,000 ventilators designed, developed, produced here in the country. I think somewhere around April, first week, the decision was given that you produce and money is available, funding is available, design, develop, produce each component, everything. So people started working day and night. The R&D organizations, the industry, and production big organizations, all the people day and night working. See, I'm telling you, the first week of April, the decision is given. 15th of April, 15th of August, all these components onwards, right from valves, pressure sensors, flow sensors, everything, PCBs making, whole system making, testing, hospitals, going various hospitals, testing, getting certified. 50,000 ventilators have been delivered in the country by 15th of August. So fast, we can see the capability in the country. It is only the drive, there is a necessity, and there is a drive from the highest office here in the country who is taking reviews every week and made the country come out with this. So much of this. And later you must have seen many more technologies, whatnot, and all that oxygen plants, oxygen cylinders, so many things have been come out in the country, which country could produce. So that is what is required, and the country need to look at these things, try to make very quickly and fast, and try to catch up and convert ourselves. And this country has to become prosperous means we have to supply to the world these type of technology-based products, science and technology-based equipment, products, and whatnot, and all that, and make the country rich is the only way. So it is need for us to become complete Atmanirbhar and make the world-class products or the world best products and sell it all over the world. And that is where we scientists have a major role to play. And we are the people who have to come out with the science research and technological outputs and make the country that we are a leading country, trying to see that. This is a good trend actually. Our academic institutes are trying to improve ratings also day by day, day by day. There's a lot of competition within the country, outside the country. We were not having one institute earlier within 500. Now there we have a couple of institutes which are coming in the first 500 rankings, and we are trying to compete to become into 250, and probably we are competing to become in the 100 also. I'm sure that the way things are going on, we should be able to improve upon. And so in every field, we have to improve that. Actually, if the rankings improving, then the research content is improving. The number of papers which are coming today are also improving. The number of papers which India produces are huge today. And so this is the evolving mechanism. I'm only saying that we need to do it little fast, quicker, and it's our responsibility, the scientific community's responsibility is the one which can take this country as a leader in the world. I'm sure all of you will be able to contribute, and definitely Telangana Academy of Sciences also, city having so many scientific organizations and academic institutes and universities in the country will be able to participate and will be able to do their best. And in the end, again, I thank giving me the opportunity to deliver this talk to all of you here in the name of the great legendary scientist, Professor Y. Naidamma. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. I now request Professor P. Venugopal Reddy, Professor K. Janardhan Reddy, and Dr. C.H. Mohan Rao, Founder President TAS, to come onto the dais to felicitate the chief guest, because sir was elected to the academy in the 2016. That induction ceremony, it was so now it is a felicitation come induction also is there. So I request Dr. Lamar. So I now request Chief Guest to give one more induction certificate to Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy, Director CSIR-ICT. So this is. Sir, one more request. I request Dr. Tata Narsingarao to come onto the dais, who took his charge as Director of ARCI. So, I now request Professor Venugopal Reddy sir and Janardhan Reddy sir to felicitate other dignitaries. Dr. Madhusudan Reddy sir and Dr. Prakash Kumar, Dr. V.M. Tiwari. Yes, yes. And Dr. Sir, Dr. V.M. Tiwari. Thank you, sir. Now, vote of thanks. At the outset, we would like to profusely thank our chief guest, Dr. G. Satish Reddy Garu, Scientific Advisor to Raksha Mantri, Government of India, for delivering Professor Y. Naidamma Memorial Lecture on Evolving Defense Ecosystem for Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are deeply indebted to you, sir, for sharing your inspiring thoughts and enlightening us on the subject. We thank Dr. D. Srinivas Reddy, Director CSIR-ICT Hyderabad, for accepting our invitation and to read the Professor Y. Naidamma profile. We thank Dr. Prakash Kumar, Director CSIR-NJRI, for accepting our invitation and sparing this beautiful SB hall and for giving brief remarks. We also thank Dr. V.M. Tiwari, former Director CSIR-NJRI, for addressing the gathering. We also thank Dr. G. Madhusudan Reddy, Director DMRL Hyderabad and EC member of TAS, for introducing the chief guest. We thank Padma Vibhushan, Dr. A.V. Ramarao Garu, Professor Apparao Garu, Professor Bhaginarayana, former Vice Chancellors, and Dr. C.H. Mohan Rao, former founder president of TAS, for gracing this occasion. We also thank Professor P. Venugopal Reddy, President TAS, for his guidance, continuous support, and encouragement, and for gracing this occasion. We also would like to thank Professor K. Janardhan Reddy, Honorary Secretary TAS, for his guidance, constant encouragement, and for gracing this occasion. I also thank members of all executive committees, members of and the staff of TAS for their support, and all of you for participating in this event. And thank you all once again. Now, national anthem, I request to stand up.